Sweet.
Hey
Hi,
everyone,
guys.
we are live.
We are
We've just been told
by.
by our producer, Jesse.
That's right.
Bree the kitty, yes, it's 9 p.m. I am so sorry. This is completely my fault. But
Quite late.
we had belt testing for martial arts class tonight, so everything got pushed back a little bit tonight. I apologize for that. But all three, me and my two boys, passed.
You guys
So
won.
we've all moved on to our next belt.
You
So
won the
that
belt.
that was exciting. I'm the lowest belt of all three of us.
So your oldest one is black now? Black belt?
No, he's a brown belt.
Brown. Okay. Not
Yes.
quite black yet. Okay.
Yes, he's a brown belt. My youngest son is now a blue belt, and I am now a purple belt.
Okay.
And yes,
Awesome.
so
That's okay.
yeah,
Someday you'll catch up to your kids.
maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. Thanks for the congratulations, you guys. And thanks for your patience while waiting for the stream to start. You guys are absolutely awesome. So, welcome. It's Wednesday, and we're going to do a Don't Worry Wednesday on a Wednesday.
That's right.
Yes.
It's almost not Wednesday. Only 3
Almost.
hours.
Yeah. Well, yes. For some of you, it's probably Thursday. Because I don't. Some of you guys live in places where it's Thursday now, and that's okay.
And if you live just west of the Samoa Islands, it's almost Friday.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Samoas?
Yeah.
Like the cookies?
Probably.
Like the Girl Scout cookies, Samoas.
Do they? Wait, which ones are those?
Which are the best Girl Scout cookies ever. They're the caramel, the coconut with the chocolate stripes on them. They're the ring chocolate
You like
stripes.
those ones the best, really?
Yeah. I mean, they're totally not good for you, and you don't get as many in a box, but they're so good.
Yeah, you don't get as many, but they are bigger. I'm completely cool with them. I like them. My brother, though, he doesn't like coconut, so we didn't get those a lot when we were kids.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's nothing to do with.
Yeah, we're talking about Girl Scout cookies, which is amazing, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, so it's Don't Worry Wednesday. This is the show where we handle any concerns or challenges you might be facing. You can just go ahead and post them in the chat or post them on our website here at this link right here. And that is where we grab all of our questions. Looks like some of you have been posting your questions in this area, and thank you for that. We will be happy to get to them. But yeah, we just want to do what we can to help you guys out. We're not professional therapists, and our material's not a substitute for professional counseling.
That's
but
right.
You know, we just want to pull up alongside you as a friend. Sometimes when you're in the thick of things, what you really, truly need more than anything is someone to just put their arm around you, tell them that they love you, tell them that it's going to be okay, and, you know, maybe offer a little bit of advice and perspective to get, you know, the thought process going in a different direction. Because sometimes it's hard when you're down in a pit somewhere or in a thicket of brush. I don't know. I've got all kinds of analogies going on now.
You just do 5 different analogies at one time and smash them all together.
I know, but you can't see. You can't really see clearly, you know, because you're just surrounded by the issue, and you know everything is close in front of you, and you can't. Sometimes it takes a view from a different angle to just set things in the right direction. And you know, we hope that anything we can say will help you guys, and we just love you so much. We're so glad to have, you know, all of you as a part of our community, and yeah, we just want to help as best we can. So yeah, Jose, you're sorry you're late. We're sorry we're late too.
Yeah.
You're actually right on time because we're just getting started. But yeah, you guys are amazing. And bless you, Ryan.
Thanks.
That was a
Felt that
sneeze,
one
right?
coming for a long while. Yeah. I was like, is it coming? No, it's uh, okay. And then it sneezed. So anyways, we aren't going to be able to be here for super long. We've got about an hour and then we got to get going. So we will address your questions as best as we can during that time.
Mhm.
Or your concerns, I should say. Because sometimes you don't have questions, you just have statements.
Yes. Questions, concerns, yes, all of that stuff. So we've got a few in, excuse me, we've got a few in the questions area of the live stream,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks like we have people.
Yeah, who's first here? Yeah, we have like
Bree just posted one recently. We do have one from admin6449. I know I saw that person here. Yep, they're here. And
what
yes,
about
admin had a question from the last stream.
okay, and Redestroyer, I assume Redestroyer is not here.
Redestroyer, I don't think is here.
All right. Redestroyer, if you are here, just say something and then but if admin is here, is admin here?
What was
We
this?
also got
We had an anonymous. Where was that? That was from
right.
last.
Yep, we got anonymous last week.
Okay.
And before I do that, I would have to confirm that that person is here. So that
But then
person,
how do you do that?
if that person
Oh, they'd have to message
send
you or
me
something?
a message on Discord to let me know if you are around. Yes, you are. Okay.
Oh,
That one.
anonymous is here?
Yep, anonymous is here.
Okay. So Redestroyer's not here. So looks like first in line
Admin.
is adme6449.
Awesome.
Yes. Let's
Okay.
see. So the question is,
How do you deal with jealousy?
how do you deal with jealousy? What if they are your friend? Let's just say that due to circumstances, I'm not able to be there for friend A as much, and now friend B is closer to friend A, and that makes me feel jealous of their closeness. So it sounds like this person has a friend, and then another friend is now closer to that friend, and that makes adme feel jealous.
Yeah.
Do I have the gist of that? I think that's probably.
I think that's right. It's interesting. Sometimes I think this is great, by the way, adme, because sometimes we're dealing with something and we have this internal struggle and we know it's our fault. And I have to give you props for that because a lot of times we go through life and we experience something we don't like. And our instinct is to say, oh, it's the world's fault. It's something outside of us that's causing us to feel this way. And we generally don't want to point at ourselves and say, well, hold on a minute. It's my perspective that's the problem here. And I want to move past this. I think that that is honorable and really awesome of you. I think you're already on the right track. The fact that you are acknowledging the jealousy and know what it is and want to get past it, I think that that takes a certain amount of humility and wanting to become the best person you can be. And I think that's just, you're on the right track already. So props to you. Excuse me. When it comes to jealousy, or at least in this particular situation, I think it's generally because we want stuff for ourselves, right? I mean, that's obvious, right? We want something for ourselves. But we forget to think about wanting stuff for other people. It's, that it's a good thing that your friend A and friend B are close to each other. That's a beautiful thing. Um, but and there's definitely, and I should say, to rejoice in that will help you with your jealousy. To rejoice in saying, um, like, they're closer together, and that's a beautiful thing, and just be happy about that. I think that's important. Um, to care more about others, or at least care for them the way that you care for yourself, wanting the best for them, wanting them to experience happiness, joy, to be close with each other, all of that, to want that for other people. I mean, that's love. And I think that helps a lot with jealousy. Um, Another thing, is I kind of want to touch this surface cautiously, but jealousy isn't wrong. Jealousy isn't bad. Um, Envy is bad. And so here's the difference between the two. Jealousy is wanting something that, whether you've earned it or not, jealousy is wanting something, usually something that is owed to you, but sometimes it's not. Jealousy is just wanting something that you see somebody else has. And that's not wrong. Envy is wrong. And envy is this: looking at what someone else has and then wanting to destroy it. When you look at someone and they have something you don't have, um, and it makes you angry, and then you act out on that anger, that's envy. So jealousy is, I see my neighbor has a beautiful red Corvette, and I'm like, man, I want one of those. Oh,
Mm.
that's so cool. I want one of those. What do I have to do to get myself one of those? That's jealousy. Envy is, oh man, I want one of those. Hold on, let me grab out my knife and stab it into their wheels so they can't drive it anymore. That's envy. That's mean, right?
Mm.
That's
Mhm.
taking your keys and rubbing it against their car and making it look terrible, right? That's envy. And that's what you don't want. But jealousy can be healthy. When you look at your friend's relationship and you say, I wish I was that close with them, that's not a bad desire. It's a good desire. And if you look at your friends and you say, there's nothing wrong with looking at someone and saying, I want what they have. It's a good, healthy thing. Sometimes people have traits or qualities that we like, wow, that person is really um, a great leader. He's able to enter and just kind of lead people. I want to be able to do that. That's jealousy, but that's also a good desire for yourself. And you can actually decide to start learning how to become a good leader. Or in this scenario, you have your friends that are close. It's okay to want that. And I would suggest doing your best to go out of your way and make your relationships closer. You had to do what you had to do. The past is now the past. You had to, through circumstances, you didn't really list what they were, but and that's totally fine. But through those circumstances, your two friends got closer together, and you want that too. That's good. That's healthy. So go ahead and try to reach for that. It's not going to do you any harm to do that. Generally, there's one rule that I'll suggest, for making friends and getting close to people. The most important thing is not what you look like to them, but what they look like to themselves.
Mm.
If you make someone feel good about themselves, they're going to want to be around you more. I mean, if you think about your best friends, the friends that you just love being around, those friends are the friends that make you feel good inside. They make you feel good about yourself and who you are. They make you laugh. They make you smile. They make you have a good time. The reason you like people generally is because they make you feel good about yourself and who you are. And in fact, a good friend should do that. So just be that person. Be the kind of person that doesn't get concerned about what they look like, what they have, how other people see them, but be more concerned about how to make other people feel like they look good, make other people feel like they are the most amazing people that
Mm.
you've ever met, because they are. So that's my advice on, just getting close with people. Um, don't be afraid to strike up an intimate conversation. And by intimate, I don't mean romantic. By intimate, I mean a very personal conversation. Like, what do you believe in? What do you think about this issue in the world? How would you solve that? I have this going on in my life. When you address personal topics, it creates an intimate bond between two people. They know each other better and they feel more connected and they feel like they have better trust and respect with each other. So, yeah. Anyways, those are things that I would suggest. And yeah, um, I didn't really speak too much about how to get over the feeling of jealousy, but I did a little bit, and I hope that maybe Joe will have a little bit more on that subject. So I'm going to turn it over to him.
Well, I think what you said, Ryan, does help a lot to get over those feelings because it takes your focus off of yourself and puts it on how can I make the other person feel better? So anytime we're dealing with these types of issues, a big part of it might be that we're a little too focused on ourselves, and we're a little bit too focused on ourselves, our feelings, our wants, all these things, and the more we can look outward towards other people and see, oh, how can I help these other people? How can I make their day better? The more we are able to do that and disconnect ourselves from being focused on ourselves, it goes a long way to feeling better about the situation. And then that helps you deal with it. One thing, um, you know, as Ryan was talking, I thought of a few practical things you can do. And one that I have done a lot that has really helped me through issues of jealousy, issues of, when I'm mad at somebody else, all these, anything like that, or maybe self-pity too might be in there. But I asked the question, why?
Hmm.
I ask why. Why do I feel this way? And then I explain to myself the answer. Well, I feel this way because this and this and this happened. Well, why does that make me feel that way? So I ask why again. And then okay, well, because it just is frustrating because such and such and this and that and whatever, you know. And then the next question, this is going to be a big surprise, is, well, why does that matter? And so I continue to ask why over and over and over again until I get to the bottom of it. And in my case, this is probably not the same with you, but in my case, usually it comes down to, well, it's because I'm being selfish and I'm kind of being a jerk about it. Like that's me.
Yes, me too.
Where I usually get to that point, I'm just like, oh, dang it, And so then how do I fix that part? Here is uh this is great. This is a phrase that was coined by our martial arts instructor, the guy who owns the studios. He actually owns like 4 martial arts studios right now.
Mm-hmm.
And and so he puts out different YouTube videos on stuff. And we always go through some different leadership concepts, through every cycle and stuff. And in this case, this particular part of this one principle was gratitude. And he said, gratitude is the antidote to anger and sadness.
And patience, or the lack of patience, I would say as
Mm-hmm.
well. I would say even up, it would extend even into patience and so on. Like, really.
Yeah. But so the question then is, what are you thankful for? What are you grateful for? Like, like maybe even it's just indoor plumbing.
Yeah. Right.
Great. I'm grateful for a pillow sometimes, I'm like, man, because it would really, really stink if I didn't have a pillow to put my head on. If I just had to sleep with my head all like back with no pillow,
Mm-hmm.
that might hurt my neck. Or, maybe I'm grateful for the people around me. Maybe I can look at these 2 friends and maybe I'm grateful that they're alive. And I'm grateful that they are friends with each other. And so, because really, if you have two friends, think of the opposite. Think if you had two friends that were friends with you and they hated each other.
Yeah, that's a terrible. I've been there before. Sucks.
That, yeah, that hurts. So, you can, that's another thing that you could possibly be grateful for too, is that these friends are actually friends with each other and they're friends with you, you know. So, I mean, it depends on how far this has gone. I mean, if they're totally shunning you, then there may be some other issues to deal with there. Um, and that can be really painful too. Like if you have two friends that get to be really close friends and then they start leaving you out and like kind of just going and
Yeah.
doing their own thing, and then if you come around they kind of, try and get rid of you and stuff, that really hurts too. And I hope that that's not happening. But you know practically you can do those things. I mean, so step one would be to ask the why question and just keep asking why until you get to the bottom of what is making you feel bad about this situation, and just keep asking why, keep asking why. And then when you get there, then you have your pinpointed problem. And then the antidote for that sadness is gratitude. And it doesn't have to involve them, but you can just think of things you're thankful for. In fact, it's an exercise that I do every morning. Every morning when I look, I have it even listed on my calendar. It says, step one, breathe life into your body. Take a deep breath and smile and breathe. And next step, think of 3 things that you're grateful for.
Corn syrup.
Corn syrup. Yes.
Flour.
Flour.
Mm-hmm.
Pancakes.
Xanthan gum.
Xanthan gum. Monosodium glutamate.
MSG.
Yes.
MSG, baby. Got to put that up. Rub it all over it. Okay, anyways.
Yeah. So, and really, the BSS company and community, that's like one of the 3 things. Like every single morning, I just look at it and I think of BSS and our community, and that's one thing I'm extremely thankful for. All of you guys are
Yeah.
involved, and it's so amazing. But anyway, so 3 things I'm grateful for. Then the next step is name 3 things that you're looking forward to.
Oh.
So then it can be like, okay, these are things that haven't happened yet, but I'm looking forward to them. So, and maybe they're goals of yours, maybe they're, things you're striving for, stuff like that. It just kind of gets your mind moving forward. First you're thinking what you're thankful for that's already in your life. And then you're thinking, ooh, what am I excited about that I'm looking forward to? 3 things. And then the next step is 3 things that I'm going to do today to make my life better. Think of 3 things. What can I do today that can improve my life and perhaps the lives of those around me? And that's every morning. I look at my calendar and I read through that every morning.
Man,
And
your mornings are packed, but that's awesome.
yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, they're packed with all kinds of stuff. And,
They're very productive. You have extremely productive mornings. I'll tell you.
well, it all starts with that kind of stuff. It all starts with getting your head right. And, I think probably the biggest hitch, the biggest impactful thing of that whole thing is the gratitude part. When you think of what you're thankful for, that sets everything else in the right motion. And it really, you try it. And I dare you to try it and still feel crummy about everything, when you start thinking of the things you're thankful for. I think that's probably why I like the holiday Thanksgiving so much.
Oh, I thought it was because of the food.
Yeah, actually, you're probably right,
Yeah,
Ryan.
I'm pretty sure
It's probably the food.
that's all
And
right.
I'm thankful for the food. So yeah. So
Yes.
anyway, I mean, you know, that's probably all I have to say. about that, but I think Ryan really nailed it about how to feel better. And that is to find a way to step outside of yourself. Find a way to step outside yourself and look at the other people and look outside and see what you can do to make other people feel good about themselves. There's a really wise man who once said, the only way to be happy is to give happy. And so when you give other people happiness, you yourself will become more happy as a result. And that's
Mhm.
why, man, I appreciate all you guys coming to these Don't Worry Wednesday streams. But
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why I feel so great after doing this is because we're we're you know trying our best to help other people.
Right.
And when
And you
you
guys are here helping
yeah,
each other out and us out, and
yeah,
it's
I
awesome.
I look at the chat and I'm like, you guys are all answering questions. You guys are all helping out. Jose said something really good. Oh, and I wanted to post this. This is the link to your question. Add me 6449, and slightly above average Joe has a great answer that he put in that. Um, And so I would encourage you to read through that because
Yeah.
that is a very, very wise man as well, who
Yeah. He's
has
so cool.
great answers. And I've gotten to know him a little bit, recently, and wow, there is something there, that we can all gain from. And so yeah, go and read through that. And we sure appreciate your question and the courage you had to share.
Yeah, you're
And
welcome.
please keep coming back. And yeah, thank you so much.
I would recommend listening to that again, maybe taking out a piece of paper and jotting down the things that Joe recommended, because doing that every morning would, oh geez, that'd be so awesome. I'm gonna start thinking about doing that every morning.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Definitely a
That's
great idea.
hmm To start your
Um,
day with that is tremendous.
hmm You write it down. Yeah. So, anyways, I guess we're on to the next one, right?
Yeah. What do we got? What do we
We've
got?
got one that's anonymous.
Anonymous, is Anonymous still here?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they are. Um, and I guess Kayla is not here. Okay.
Kayla, we answered Kayla's.
Oh, we did.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Kayla's was, yeah, we answered Kayla's.
Okay. Okay, so this is the anonymous one. Okay, this is what they wrote. Everything I say, sorry, I regret everything I say. I flipped a coin if I was going to do this message. Every time I think I feel sick, every time I give my opinion, if I say bye first or last, I regret it. If I do something bad, I feel like everyone hates me. If I say something and no one responds, I think I did something wrong and I will regret it. I feel selfish for messaging someone, even when they say I did nothing bad, uh, and I think I did. I hate it. I want to be alone if I do. Okay, yeah. I want to be alone if anything these occur, yeah, I can totally understand that. Wanting to be alone. Um, so yeah, it seems like this person, anonymous, they messaged me and they said they had a couple of things they wanted to say, and this was kind of like the first one. They flipped a coin to see if they wanted to, if they were going to be able to actually write it or not, and so I guess it landed heads or something. But anyways, yeah.
Mhm.
So this person is dealing with being very worried and regretful over um, when they say things or how people react to them. Um,
Yeah.
when they
No,
say something and they might go, no one responds to what they said or whatever. So yeah, that's a tough time.
Anonymous, I feel your pain so at a very personal level because this
Me
is
too.
an issue that I have had plaguing my heart for decades. All through growing up, all through my teenage years and into my 20s and everything. It just so I totally understand where you're coming from, and I'm so sorry that you're in that place because I know how much it hurts. And I sure do appreciate you reaching out to Ryan and posting this, because I imagine there are a lot of us who deal with this. Like
Yeah.
I can feel tears starting to come out. So I'm sorry because I know, and I'm so sorry.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I feel sick every time I give my opinion or if I say by first or last, it always feels awkward.
Hmm.
Uh, if I do something wrong, I feel like people hate me. Yes. And especially if people get upset about it, you know. Even they, you know what? They didn't even have to get upset about it. They just, you know, ah, they just might even not even, they might just disregard it. But in my heart, I knew I did something wrong. And so I felt like they didn't say something encouraging. So therefore they feel mad at me for doing it. And, you know, it's so telling because Ryan, I'm sure, have you experienced this
Oh yeah, yeah, totally.
situation too? Here's the thing, Anonymous. I've experienced this. Ryan has experienced this. If you go to your topic, I'm gonna copy and paste it here as well because our friend Slightly Above Average Joe has another great answer to that one in this one as well. And you can read through that. But he has a similar problem too. And I think a lot of us go through this. And I think at the heart of this issue is a self-conscious nature where we're concerned. We want to do things correctly. We want to do things properly. We want to do the best we possibly can. And because we're not perfect, we feel like it's all wrong. And I know I'm a perfectionist at heart. Ryan knows that, you know.
Hmm.
We've worked together on projects enough that he knows, that I'm a perfectionist, and it really can get you, down. The strangest thing was, the way in which I gained freedom from this feeling. And I'm not totally free from it.
I don't think anyone is 100% free.
Yeah, but I'm way better off than I was a few years
Yes.
ago.
Hmm.
Way better. And I'll tell you how I got that. Now, this road may not work for everybody, but the road that took me was getting pounded by lots and lots of people verbally on a daily basis. The nature of my profession as a property inspector means I show up to somebody's house, they don't like the fact that I'm there because it means that there's an issue with their mortgage. And so I'm a reminder of their stressful situation. So they come out and they are really mad at me. I didn't do anything to them, like there's a situation in their life that has nothing to do with me. But because I represent it, they really are angry. And so they come out and swear and yell and call me names and all this kind of stuff. And it's crazy. And I had other people that I was close to that also, were going through problems of their own and took it out on me. So I was just getting beaten up verbally by people, day in and day out all the time. And luckily, I had some friends. I had Ryan and his brother Kyle, and I had Jesse and Steve and the other people on staff at BSS. Like they were kind of like my support group, you know. And I
Oh,
had prayer.
thank you.
Prayer. I cannot emphasize that enough. Prayer, Some of what I talked about in the last time, gratitude can help turn that around a little bit. But here's the thing I started to learn. When I was getting beaten up verbally by these people, I learned that people aren't thinking about me. The reason that these people were yelling at me isn't because of me. It's because of them. It's because they are having an issue and they're upset about it. And I just happen to be there. So I bear the brunt of it. Right. That's a clue that these people aren't thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves. The fact that I struggle with this, I am not thinking about you. I was thinking about myself. The fact that Ryan was dealing with this issue, he's not thinking about other people. He's thinking about himself. And the same thing, when we go and when we do this, I felt like I was doing everything wrong. I felt like I was messing everything up. I felt like I couldn't do anything right. And everything that was in there was me. So I found out once again, I was a little bit too focused on myself. And when you can turn that and focus on other people, here's the thing, after I'd been getting beaten up verbally by people, I started to realize, you know what? It's not me they're mad at. It's themselves. It's their situation. It's all this kind of stuff. And then I started to think, what could be going on in their heart that's making them that upset? And I turned it into an exercise. I turned it into a little bit of a game. And then I got to the point where I would see people just walking and I would look at their eyes and I would try and think, what's going on in their heart right now? Because the eyes are the window to the soul. And you can tell a lot just by looking at somebody's eyes. They walk by and you look at their eyes and you can see, is there the weight of the world? Is it crushing them right now? Are they on top of the world? Did they just succeed at something? And so now, you can tell, like, you just look at somebody's eyes and it tells you so much. And when I started to do that, this tension that I felt about wanting to be right all the time and doing everything right, it started to loosen a little bit. And I'm like, oh, here's a way that I cannot feel so bad about this. And it was genuinely anonymous. It was genuinely the focus on other people. Excuse me, the ability to focus on other people and their issues and oh my gosh, they must be really hurting. I should pray for them. Or I should at least feel some empathy for them. You know, to do that eases that tension so much. It just kind of smooths it out. So then you're not so concerned and not so tightly wound and feeling so I can feel the tension even in the question, just the way when I read the question, I started to feel myself tense up and get in this defensive mode, you know, and I can totally see how you must feel that way. But to smooth that out, start looking outwards at other people and start thinking about what you're grateful for. And I think both of those would go a long way. And Ryan probably has a little bit different angle that he can go on this. So I'm going to turn it over to him. But thank you for the question, Anonymous. And Ryan, what do you got?
Yeah, thanks, Joe. That was really great, and I totally agree with all of that. I think my journey was quite different, but also the same. You know what I mean? In life, truths are truths. You know, not everything is solved the same way for every person, but the foundation, the fundamentals, the reason why something works, it's all the same. So um, you know I struggled. Now, I think you've probably heard my story before with um, black static. You know, I made a character on a video game. It was a game that was online, so it was with a lot of people. And I, um, on that game, you know, it was all text. No one could hear my voice. It wasn't really chatting out loud, but we would type to each other or whatever. On that game, I gained like hundreds of friends. Tons of people liked me. But when I went to school, I felt like everybody was my enemy. I was 100% sure that everyone hated me. And except for maybe like four people. You know, I had four friends or something. You know, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less. I don't even know. But I was 100% positive that all of these people that weren't my friends were stupid and they hated me. And I didn't like them either.
That's, hey.
But let me tell you something. That was wrong. I was very wrong. When I look back, and it's funny because I remember talking to somebody. His name was Andy Trombley. This was like a year ago or less. I was talking to Jesse knows Andy Trombley, but Andy Trombley was a kid that went to my school, was in my grade, and he was a weird kid. He was funny. He was also really political, but he was only political to get on people's nerves, and he didn't actually care. I'm not kidding. That's the kind of kid. And so that's what he did. He looks back at his childhood and he regrets that, and he's like, I was so stupid for doing that. That did not make me friends, you know. But I thought he was kind of popular because he was not always nice and he was kind of a bully sometimes, but not really mean. But you just kind of get that feeling from him. Like I did. I should specify I did. Anyways, I remember talking to him a year ago and we were talking about the past, and I was like, when I was in school, you know, like everybody hated me and that's what I believed. And he was like surprised and he was like, what are you talking about? No one hated you. Everyone loved you, Ryan. What are you talking about? Because his view of me was actually probably more accurate. But I thought everybody hated me. That was my assumption. And that was my assumption every time I told a joke, every time I walked, every time I had to, or walked in front of class, walked down the hallway, saw people looking at me, um, and began a conversation, said any words in that conversation. I was certain that, you know, they didn't like me and they were going to be mean to me, or I was going to mess something up and ruin my relationship with them. I was always thinking those things. And so I had built this idea in my head. None of it was real. I had built this social structure in school. Oh, here are the popular kids. Here are the kids that get bullied. You know, here are the unpopular kids, whatever. And I built that whole thing in my head. But none of it's actually real. It's not actually a part of the physical reality. I mean, you have politics, you have groups of friends, and you have that sort of thing. But no one person is better than another, and no one person is above thinking that everyone hates them. And no one person is above thinking about themselves and saying, I'm the best or whatever, you know. Every person is capable of thinking either of those or anything in between. Um, and yeah, and so I had built this whole thing thinking everybody had hated me in my head. And it was a terrible life to live. I didn't like being there. I didn't like being that person. I didn't like being myself, and I didn't like having to be myself and deal with that. But anyways, as I was saying before, like I started playing this game when I was 14. By the time I was 16, I had jumped a couple of different servers. It was called Ragnarok Online. I jumped a couple of servers, and when I was 16, trying to make sure, yeah, I think it's 16. I joined a server over summer break, and I started making a bunch of friends. And how I did it was I just decided I would sit down next to people in the game and be like, hey, how's it going? And be weird sometimes, like put on a weird hat that made my character look crazy and then run around screaming, waka, 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 waka. And that was my thing that I would do, like for no reason. And people would be like, dude's nuts. But when I came online, like people would message me right away. They'd be like, hey, welcome, hey, how's it going?
It's the crazy guy.
Yeah, it's the
Hey.
crazy guy. It's the nice guy. It's the guy that talks to people. And I made mainly because I spent my time just engaging in conversation with people or messaging them and saying, hi, welcome to the server. Are you new? Etc. Just because I did that, that alone made me a bunch of friends. And I noticed the thing I did was because it was online, I could take the time to think about what I was going to say before I did it. And so basically, I would just try to be the best version of myself. Black Static was this character where I was being like, hey, I'm just being the best version of myself and not caring what people think, because all I can do is this. I can't decide what other people think about what I do. I'm just trying to have fun. I'm just trying to have other people have fun. I'm just trying to be the best version of myself online. And it was nice because, someone writes something and then you read it and then you have time to think before you actually say it, you know? But because the people weren't there in front of me, I felt a little bit more secure. I was secure because I was behind my computer, I was behind a screen. No one knew who I was. I was anonymous, right? And so it didn't matter what they thought of me. And so I took that opportunity to just try to be the best me and see what people thought. And I'll tell you, like I said, I gained hundreds of friends. And so I remember one day I was thinking to myself, I was like, okay, this isn't fair. How come online I have hundreds of friends? Like people, I come online, people will instantly message me like, hey, blah, blah, blah. But yet in real life, I have no friends. Like, what's wrong with my real self? Like, how come that's a situation? Hey, Rashoni, how's it going, man? Rashoni is one of my high school friends. So, and it was at this point when, after asking myself, like, what's the difference between my real life versus this online life, And I was like, okay, so in the online world, I'm basically just not worrying about what people are saying and not worrying so much about myself and how I look. I just let it go and I just go with it. I go with the flow. I just do whatever I want to do and it's okay. I be the best version of myself. And I said, I want to be that guy. And so in real life, I started to go to school and I started to force myself to do things that Black Static would do. So I would sit down next to people I didn't know very well in band, or people I thought hated me in band or other classes. And I would strike up a conversation like, hey, nice pants. I like your pants. They look cool. And I'm not trying to be offensive. They're really cool. Where'd you get them? Saying things that just complimented people, striking up conversations, and I had to force myself to do that. It was super awkward at first. But by forcing myself to be this other person, which was me, by forcing myself to be this other person, all of a sudden my self-esteem grew. And when my self-esteem grew, it attracted more people to me and more people wanted to be around me because I had a good attitude. And then their self-esteem started to grow because I was giving them positive influence and they were giving it right back to me. And we ended up bonding as a group and tons of people came together and became more friends. And it was awesome experience. And so then it was no longer like, hey, we were the unpopular kids. Suddenly we had this network of people that knew each other and were friendly towards each other. That was bigger than the popular crowd. And so by default, we were the popular crowd. Even though that would never have been said, that was the situation, but like, so the main thing here is I had to force myself to be really uncomfortable. It was super uncomfortable. I remember the first time I was like, I have a funny joke, but I'm not going to say it out loud because no one's going to laugh and I'm going to regret it. Or someone's going to call me stupid. And I'm like, nope, Ryan, if you were online, you would say it. And I was like, oh, dang it. I'll say it. And I said it out loud. And everyone laughed. And I was like, hey, yeah,
It worked, man.
I'm awesome. Right? That's all it took. It just took not worrying about what people thought or forcing myself to do something I didn't want to do, regardless of what people thought. And that's the thing. You go through your life and you make your actions regardless of what other people think. My main suggestion is just let go. I know what it's like to be where you're at, and it sucks to have to worry about what everyone thinks and regret everything you say because someone didn't respond or they chuckled, but it wasn't really a good laugh, and you're like, I'm kind of failing here. That's because you're worrying too much about what people think of you, and you know that. There's no reason to worry about what people think of you. You are who you are. And yeah, you can get better. You can become a better person than who you are right now. That's the goal. But as it stands right now, you are who you are. Whether people laugh at what you say or they don't, there's no reason to regret it. We were talking about before with the last concern that someone had, about not being focused on yourself. And I think really that's the key. Ultimately, the less you are worried about what you look like to others, the easier it's going to be to enjoy who you are. I think, just like I said before, when you're making friends with people, what matters most is not what you look like, but what others look like to themselves when you're around them.
Right.
And if you focus on making other people feel good, then you're doing the best you can. If you're focused on how other people look to themselves and not worrying so much about trying to prove that you're funny or trying to prove that you look good or worrying about, anything of that nature, the more you do that, the easier it is to brush things off. If someone makes fun of you because you say something, it's so easy to brush things off. And when you're not concerned about your own image, because your image is your image regardless of how you think of it. And reality oftentimes isn't what you think it is. Like I said, I went through school and I thought everyone hated me. And I talked to someone later and they said, what are you talking about? No one hated you. That was just, you were imagining that because everyone thought you were, at least just a decent guy. No one, and that's the truth. I look back and I see how people treated me. And yeah, there were bullies. Yeah, there was a lot of bad treatment. But even those people, they didn't hate me. They were just having a bad day or they just wanted to be witty. They were just trying to have fun, whatever.
Right.
In truth, like almost no one actually even really gave two thoughts about me, except for my close friends. And that's okay. A lot of times you're worried about what other people are going to think of you when you say something. And even when they respond poorly, they're not thinking about you at all. They're not. No one, you think people will go, oh man, he's an idiot. Generally, like if they think that, then their opinion is stupid. But also, that's a thought and then it's gone out the window. They're not thinking about you past that. They're not thinking about, oh man, they're going to have to regret saying that. And I'm going to, think about them regretting that for like the next month. And I'm just going to lay on them for that for the next month. No one does that, the pain that you experience lasts in you a lot longer than anyone else inflicts it on you, right? Someone stabs you, you have to heal. right? And that sits there for a long time. But the act of stabbing was only like a second or less. And that's pretty much how people think of each other. Not that they want to stab each other, but that's how long people tend to think of each other. Except for those few people who are really nice, who are considerate, who are kind, who are loving, who want the best for you. Those are the people that actually think about you. And they don't think the things you think they're thinking. They don't think the mean things that you think about yourself. They're thinking the things like, wow, I like that guy. He's funny. He's good to be around. Let's invite him to, do some stuff together, because they care about you and they think you're awesome. So anyways, that was long-winded,
No,
but
you said something really interesting though. Is like, they're not thinking the things you think they're thinking. I was like,
yeah,
well, try and say that 10 times fast.
they're
They're
not
not
thinking
thinking
the things
the
you think
things
they're
you
thinking.
think they're thinking.
Yeah.
But it's very true. That's so true, because they're not.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can imagine what people are thinking. A lot of times you don't know. There's no way to know unless you just ask them.
Right.
I mean,
And they got
especially.
all their own personal stuff going on.
Yeah, most people are like, someone says a comment, you're having a conversation. Most of the time when you're having a conversation, it's not a matter of like, all right, I'm focused on and narrowed in what this person says and I'm waiting for them to say something stupid, right? Though we pretend like it is,
we
right?
feel that way. Yes.
Um, Usually when they're like in a conversation, they're like, all right, what do I say that I won't sound stupid? Right? Everyone's doing that. Everyone's thinking, oh gosh, I hope they don't think I'm an idiot. Oh gosh, what am I going to say? How do I phrase this so I don't sound stupid? Right? Everyone's thinking about that, until you just let go. It
Right.
doesn't matter what people think of you. You are who you are, regardless of that.
Right.
And you hopefully, again, you're encouraging yourself to grow that person, whoever that person is, whoever you are. Your intent is to continue to grow that person, be the best person you can be. But their opinion doesn't change anything. It doesn't change reality. It's not a part of reality. Opinion is just a thought. And so I would just encourage you to let go of yourself.
Yeah.
To be that guy, I'm going to tell you something. You know what helped me the most? Forcing myself into embarrassment. When I would go and I would publicly embarrass myself, publicly embarrass myself in front of my friends, in front of my enemies, who I thought were enemies, who probably weren't, so they could have a laugh, so I could brush it off. Because when I did that, I realized the ramifications were nothing. There were no ramifications. That the biggest pain I was experiencing was the pain that I was developing in my own head and I was causing onto myself, and that if you stop taking yourself so seriously, life becomes a lot easier.
It does.
You should take life seriously, but don't take yourself too seriously. Take yourself seriously, but not too seriously, right? Because then you can brush things off when they get hard.
Right. Anonymous, I don't know if you're a reader or not, but as Ryan was explaining that, I thought of a book that might seem a little, it might not seem related to this issue, but here, I'm going to post it here. This book gave me so much insight into what other people think and how people in general think and how all of us think, and all this kind of stuff. It's an old book, but yeah, How to Have Confidence and Power in Dealing with People by Les Giblin. I don't know if you're a reader. That book, I remember that when I read that the first time, it's like cheating.
It is.
Because you read it and you get all this insight into how people think, and you're like, oh my gosh, I think that way. And then you're like, oh my gosh, everybody thinks like that.
Way.
Everybody like goes through these same type of things. And it really, if if nothing else, it will help you understand other people's thought processes. So then, you know, you have to make sure your heart's in the right place, because it could turn into a manipulative tool. Like you could turn it into something where you're manipulating people. But it really does, it just teaches you how to work with human nature. You know, every single one of us is human. The people who you're concerned about what they might think of you, they are all human beings as well. And this book is a book about human nature. And
It's a really good book.
and I'm telling you, I know it's you know, this was written back in the day when they just wrote the titles of what the book was, you know. It's like
Yeah,
how
you
to
know,
have
and
confidence and power in dealing with people. Like, okay.
it's funny too. You read old books, right? And you're like, this seems like a modern book, just written in an old style, because the issues of the past are still the issues of today when it comes to
Yeah,
dealing with people.
human nature is still human nature, and it's
Yeah,
been that way for, you know, since humans started.
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. You guys, you know, I got to tell you, you know, we said at the beginning, thank you so much for the question, Anonymous. We are unfortunately going to have to wrap this one up tonight. You know,
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I apologize for having it be short, but I did want to post this link for you guys. If you want some more Don't Worry Wednesday, let me find it here first of all. You guys that are on this stream are the only ones who are going to have access to this, because this is the first single question segment that I've actually put together and finally uploaded it to YouTube, and it is unlisted at this point. So go there, click on that link, and you know, feel free to watch it. And if you have any thoughts on, or maybe even suggestions, you know, like how you might like it better, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, just I guess put them in the comment section or something. But yeah, it'll be public soon. I just, you know, I haven't written a description yet, but I put the video up because I've been working on it, and I was like, ooh, and then I uploaded it, and it just got finished uploading before we did the show, and so I just wanted to do that. But and since this one's a short one, you guys can go to that one and watch watch that. It's an old one. It's from May 9th, way back in the day. And yeah, so go there,
Yeah.
watch it,
Thanks
enjoy it.
for putting that
It's good.
together.
You'll see some amazing technical difficulties. It was fun.
Amazing. Was it our first one or second one?
This was our second stream,
Yeah. Okay.
but
Yeah.
yeah, we had some technical difficulties in that one. It was funny. But yeah, but those are going to be coming. Those are going to be coming more and more. I've got a system put together, you know, now. So, but now I'm just looking for ways to improve it. So if you guys want to check it, you guys are here, and I figured, hey, we'll send them there, and yeah, just post some stuff in the comments if you want. So anyway,
Yep. All right.
you guys
Love
are
you, Ed.
awesome. We
Thank you.
love you, and we'll plan on seeing you Friday, maybe.
Yeah, probably. I mean, we usually do now. I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
that's a part of our schedule.
It's kind of normal. It's kind of the
Yeah.
norm to do Fridays. I
By
do know there's something
by
going on. There's something good. There's a school event going on for my boys. So,
oh, on Friday?
but yeah, but it should be done in plenty of time. So,
Oh, okay. Well, we'll still be done in time for like 7:30 as we usually do. Or
yeah, it should
7?
be that maybe 7:30 or 8, something like that. I should be
Okay.
back
We
by
might be a
then.
little bit late on Friday, so
Yeah, but either way, it's Friday. You guys, you know, hey, it's Friday.
yeah. And thanks
Cool.
for checking out and tuning in, Roshoni. That's so funny. I was talking about my school life, and there you appeared. I was like,
Yeah,
okay, well, here we are.
and I
Some of
want
that
to
is
thank
there with me.
Yeah. Everybody who's here, I got to give a shout out to Princess.
Oh,
Princess,
this is
you've become like the welcoming committee today.
yeah.
And wow. And all of you guys, all of your input has been so fantastic. And
Mhm.
yeah, please keep coming. Science rocks.
It's
Some
really
of your
great
advice.
to
I
have you
mean,
guys around. I love how you guys talk in the chat. I said that before, but just the fact that you are there for each other and
mhm.
there for us. It's so cool, and we really hope that you're getting something out of this. But even if you're not, we just thank you for being here because you guys are awesome. So,
Yes, we love you, and we're so glad to be here, and we're so glad you're here too.
all
So
right,
we will see you on the flip flop.
peace. Bye bye.